We are 5 days away from the federal election, and tonight we have our next debrief at the desk with the leaders on this 40-day campaign. Conservative leader Andrew Scheer joins me. Thank you so much for joining us in the newsroom tonight.
Thank you for having me.
By this time next week, you could be Canada's Prime Minister. So you started politics at 25, you're 40 now. What do you say to those Canadians who feel that you may not really understand real-world problems because you've only ever had, as an MP, a government paycheck?
Well, you know, this election is all about making life more affordable and which party will leave more money in the pockets of Canadians. And I point to my background, the fact that I often watch my parents sit around the dinner table making tough decisions. I got my start in life thanks to jobs in small businesses who allowed me to pay my way through university. So I'm telling Canadians that my focus will be on making life more affordable for them. We're going to lower taxes, leave more money in their pocket.
But at 25, you were already an MP. There's some people who feel perhaps there wasn't that real-world experience.
I understand. Unlike Justin Trudeau, who attacked small business owners and called them tax cheats, I was able to pay my way through tuition, pay my tuition through university thanks to jobs in small businesses, waiting tables, working in an insurance office. My parents let me stay at home rent-free. They gave me a bus pass, but I had to pay for all my other costs myself. So my message to Canadians is I understand that those types of challenges, and I'm focused on making life more affordable by lowering taxes, leaving more money in the pockets of all hardworking Canadians.
If it is a Conservative minority government, will you reach across the aisle for support from the Bloc?
So we're not going to ask other parties for support. We're going to put our platform out to Canadians about how we're going to lower taxes, make life more affordable, and we will implement that agenda. And we will, we expect that other parties will respect the fact that whichever party wins the most seats gets to form the government, and that they will understand that if when Canadians endorse our platform, that we would have the right to implement it.
On the balanced budget, is that a come hell or high water promise? And are you willing to really cut anything to achieve it?
Well, we've been very, very clear on where we're going to eliminate wasteful spending. We are going to cut corporate welfare by $1.5 billion. We're going to reduce the foreign aid budget by 25%. We're going to end the practice of what we call in Ottawa March Madness, where government departments spend hundreds of millions of dollars at the end of the fiscal year on new phones, new computers. We have to get back to balanced budgets so that we stop borrowing more and more money, and more of your tax dollar goes to pay just the interest on the debt.
On the Canada-US file, you've said that Justin Trudeau caved on the NAFTA deal. Rona Ambrose, your predecessor, disagrees with you. Is she wrong?
Well, I would invite any Canadian to show me where Justin Trudeau got a win.
No, but Rona Ambrose, your predecessor, says there were gains there. So is she wrong?
So Justin Trudeau promised to come back with a better NAFTA. He didn't say, I'm going to go down and try to protect as much as I can. He said, I'm going to get a better NAFTA, a better deal. And we saw him accept concession after concession after concession, giving up access on dairy and limiting our exports to other countries. That's unprecedented. And when we asked him, so well, what did we get in return for all of that? All he could point to were things that Canada had already secured under previous Conservative governments. So it's quite clear that Justin Trudeau's strategy on NAFTA failed, and we ended up with a worse deal than we originally had.
I just want to hit, I know we don't have a lot of time, but you've taken a lot of flack for avoiding the climate change strike, avoiding the Pride Parade. I mean, you could shut this down right now. Was that a mistake?
The very day that was happening, we were making important announcements on, yes, reducing commute times for motorists, but also investments in public transit.
Well, widening roads, which a lot of people believe is a direct contradiction to the climate change
goals. The Ontario
goals.
and Young Line expansions in Toronto are very important for people in the GTA. Will give people other options than just taking their car. We were making that announcement on that day.
Let's talk about your commitment as, your goal to be Prime Minister and the tone that this campaign has set. By all accounts, one of the most negative campaigns anyone can really remember. So I just wonder, do you take any responsibility for the lack of even the most basic respect from one public servant, one party leader to another?
Well, every morning, every day, we unveil a positive announcement for Canadians. We talk about our message of the day is always geared around making life better for Canadians. I do talk about Justin Trudeau's record, and so I can understand why he would say that is a negative attack.
Well, it's not just Justin Trudeau saying that, though. You must hear this. I mean, we've just traveled across the country, and the one thing Canadians have said to me personally is they don't even recognize the vitriol in the campaign?
Well, as I said, every morning we get up and we put out a positive statement for Canadians. We're running a positive campaign talking about how we're going to make life better for Canadians, leave more money in their pockets. I must say, though, I do find it ironic when Mr. Trudeau complains about this type of thing, when it was Liberal Finance Minister Bill Morneau who called our Deputy Leader, Lisa Raitt, a Neanderthal, when Trudeau calls people who don't hold the same views as him un-Canadian, when his top advisor tweets out a picture of me shaking hands with a construction worker in a safety vest and trying to make links to racism. I mean, that is where I say Justin Trudeau has no lessons to give on decorum in a political campaign.
A week ago at the debate, speaking of decorum, with just a very few seconds into that debate, you looked Justin Trudeau in the face and called him a phony and a fraud. Do you really believe Justin Trudeau is a phony and a fraud?
Well, Justin Trudeau is always pretending to be something that he isn't. You know, he claims to be a feminist.
But do you stand by those words?
Absolutely.
So after such a divisive campaign, is there a risk that this country is going to be even more polarized than it was 36 days ago?
But you know, I've never attacked people for holding a different view. I will debate the issues, but if somebody disagrees with me, I don't call them un-Canadian. I try to change their mind. I try to win them over. And that's the difference between Justin Trudeau and I. I will debate policies, I will debate issues, I will hold people to account for what they've said and what they've done, but I will certainly not call someone un-Canadian for holding a different view. My goal is to win people over and to show people how conservative policies will help them get ahead, leave more money in their pocket, be better off for the economy. And I think that's a stark contrast between myself and Justin Trudeau, because he demonizes people who disagree with him.
All right, well, I want to thank you. I know you've got a busy 5 days ahead. Thanks for joining us in the newsroom tonight.